The month of May started out pretty slow, and it honestly looked like some red flags were popping up. But towards the end of the month, things really did shift. So in today's video, I'm going to talk you through everything that happened in the month of May, fast forward a little bit to what we should expect coming up this summer and beyond. Let's get right to it. Now, I am recording this video a little later than I normally would be because business has kept me very, very busy. So I will add a little bit of context here, but I'm not going to give away too much. I'm going to save the real trend breakers and things that I've seen so far in June here for the next video, which will be our mid-month market update. But first and foremost, mortgage rates still floating around 7. They're up a little bit from the beginning of the month of May, but not much, nothing to write home about. Again, as I've been saying all along, we should be staying around 7-ish for the bulk of the year. Whether that could go as high as 7.5, absolutely. Could it break under 7? It's possible, but I don't think by too much. And now the Federal Reserve has come out and basically said, hey, look, we were expecting 3 rate cuts in 2024. Now, at best, they're talking about 1. So that's where that stands. Inventory-wise, we are up a little bit from the beginning of May. Nothing to write home about, nothing crazy, but up is better than down. And typically, we see one last little rise in May before the fall begins in June. And we'll see if that remains true, if the trends are lining back up. Days on market still continually stable, and prices still increasing. Now, the single-family homes went from, again, down nearly 8 or 9% at one point based off the statistics. Now we are about neutral with where we were a year ago. Now, again, this newer little clip here is a good way to look at it. So we'll compare where we were in May to May of 2023, as well as the month prior. So you can see a trend, right? Mortgage rates going up consistently, inventory rising consistently. And the condo sale to list price ratio is rising as well. Again, nothing super material, nothing that I'm going to read into too deep, but it's interesting to see. Meanwhile, single family homes are a little bit all over the place. Now, keep in mind, we have a much smaller sample size going on in the single family world, usually single, maybe low double-digit sales. So it doesn't take much to really sway this one way or the other. So I don't read too much into those, but it is still smart to be cognizant of what those are. If we start seeing those closer to 90%, then there are some deals happening, and it's wise to jump in. So new listings, it looked like May was going to fall far, far short, but we had a very strong second half of the month where new listings still lower than we expected, but not to the same degree. And overall, our new listings are severely down this year compared to the same period of time last year. So fewer people are selling their homes here. And in the face, funny enough, of rental listings and rental bookings being way down, something may give at some point, but I think it's going to take some time to play out. If we're going to see any inventory increases coming that are going to be material and meaningful, I think we've got some time before that may happen, if it happens at all. Now, pending sales, again, May is generally solid, right? Compared to the rest of the year. It's not the best month of the year by any stretch, but it's definitely not the worst either. That falls in line with what we've seen so far this year as well, comparing to those blue bars from previous years. And the closed sales, now closed sales, we're down pretty substantially so far this year compared to last year. I haven't dug too much into this yet. I'm going to do that between now and the next video and see why that may be happening. Are there a lot of closing dates way out toward the second half of the year? I'm not sure, but I will come with some more information as soon as I find it. Now, months of inventory for single family homes, I've been hitting on this for the last couple months, right? Increasing at a pretty substantial pace, right? Inventory itself is building up, and the amount of homes going under contract had been decreasing. It's not keeping up with the amount of new listings that are coming. As a result, we have a growing supply of inventory in the single family world. Now, a lot of those, and again, if this is not the first message you've heard from me on this, if you've listened to past videos, I've been very clear that new construction homes, you're going to start to see some deals. There are going to be some developers that offer incentives, and we've started to see that. And some of those homes have been selling as a result of those incentives. So I would expect to see a little bit more of that unless we start to see this reverse course, which so far in June, I don't see much of a change. Sale price for single family homes staying roughly even, and I expect it to stay there. And it's kind of crazy looking back all the way to the fall of 2022, right? Obviously, there have been a little bit of peak and valley, and then that dip that happened that was carried down by really just one bad month. We're basically flat, right? It's been a stable market, which I've been saying for a very long time now. Days on market, still low, all things considered. They did jump back up, but again, I'm going to die on this hill. With such a low number of homes that do sell, that can happen. Now, moving on to condos and townhomes, pretty consistent here with months of inventory and not a massive change in any given month recently. We are still under 5 months of inventory and under 6, which again is the average, meaning it's a balanced market. We haven't seen that in a very long time. Expect that to stay about the same for the foreseeable future as well. Now, median sale price has come down a bit, right? But really, it's just consistent. If we take out that big jump in February, things are trending up very, very nicely, still on a consistent basis. I wouldn't expect that to continue. I personally think that we are plateauing, which is not a bad thing. Going back to a normal level of appreciation year over year, somewhere between 2, 3, maybe 4%. That's where I think we're headed. Days on market still very low there. So speed, my new friend. Solid, all things considered. Last May was substantially higher than this May. So if we were looking just on how fast were things moving last year versus this year, faster this year. And again, this is looking at two different variables, the number of new listings and the number of homes that go pending. How many new listings do we need for every one home that goes pending? And we were just a little bit above 2, when in general, we're about 1 3/4. We spread that out a little bit, as you can see here. Now, this 6 and 12-month comparison of speed, again, one being a longer time frame on the left and a shorter time frame on the right, leveling out pretty nicely. Not quite to pre-COVID levels, which were closer to 1.5, but still under 2. And that's been fairly consistent for the recent past. Now, where we go, that's what everybody always wants to know. Again, I don't have a crystal ball, but based on reading the data, I have had a knack for getting a good chunk of this stuff right. So mortgages, I don't expect a huge change. Now, we did just get a very friendly inflation report that resulted in rates coming down a little bit. I'm starting to see them pretty consistently around 7, some even a hair under 7, even for a second home, which we haven't seen in a little bit, I think since March or February of this year. So heading back in the right direction if you're looking to buy. From an inventory standpoint, again, we are seeing fewer new listings. We are seeing fewer homes gone under contract. The balance changes each month, but in general, those percentages are fairly aligned. Inventory as a result of fewer homes going under contract, however, has resulted in an increase in inventory recently, which is normal. Again, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, May, we typically see our last increase for a bit before inventory takes a little dip in June. And we'll see, because the gridlock is very real, right? There are still plenty of sellers who don't really want to sell. There are plenty of buyers who would love to buy, but also don't need to. It's the catch-22 that has always been present in Ocean City that is going to continue, especially when people who own are considering, hey, do I really want to part with my sub 4% mortgage? Probably not. Prices, again, I think we're pretty leveled, even though the numbers still say, hey, we're up 9% year over year for condos. Those are starting to level out too. There are, let's say, West Avenue and Asbury Avenue 3-bedroom condos that for a good bit were easily going around $1 million. They've taken a little step back. That's not to say the prices are declining. It's just that they peaked this spring, which is normal. And normally what we see over the coming months is they do take a little step back, as that rental income isn't going to be there, as the carrying cost until the next summer is going to be there in its entirety. So this is all seasonal, cyclical stuff. Nothing massive changing that should change how we approach this process. And days on market, again, fairly consistent. Now, if you have any questions, obviously, you can contact me here. But before we go, I want to leave you with a message. If you are considering selling your home for whatever reason, but a lot of people have reached out that are concerned that the rental income isn't what they thought it was going to be, or is looking like it's going to decline a little bit, right? Their occupancy rate's going to decline a little bit. People are choosing to go elsewhere as prices are very high here, even for rentals. Don't sell just because the income is not there. I have another avenue that I would love to share with you to allow you to increase your rental income without selling the house that you love, right? And your family's home at the beach. So if you want to learn more about that, definitely reach out. Have that in the works. It's going to take a little bit to get live here, but I am at least fully comfortable to share it with you. And if you are looking to buy, again, here we are in the middle of June when I'm recording this, there's not going to be a ton of great deals to be found over the next 60 days. Once we hit October, November, December, that changes. So make sure if you haven't already subscribed here and hit the thumbs up button and turn on notifications, because I'm going to be bringing you those deals. I'm going to be talking about them. Once there are enough best buys out there, I'm going to bring that segment back. We're talking about the best deals on the island so that you can make an informed decision, get a good value, and get your family here to start making memories sooner. So that is it for today. Thanks as always for hanging out. I will see you next time.